Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. Today I want to talk about my practice, which is rune ritual magic. That's rune ritual magic. I do not use the runes for divination. You can use the runes for divination. The thing is, historically, with rune ritual magic, you're not going to get a lot historically on this because they didn't talk about it. Again, when I started practicing ritual magic, I didn't start out with rune ritual magic. I started out with simple incantations to Thoth, the Egyptian god of knowledge, which I did. I was in college at the time. I did a ritual to Thoth every semester, and I made the dean's list. So yes, it works. Magic works. Rune ritual magic. Easiest way to explain this in my life, in my experience, is my first altar. I painted 2 runes on my altar, and I put my hands on the altar. I did a meditation, and the whole altar started to vibrate, so I knew right then and there that rune ritual magic was calling me. I didn't choose the path chose me. Sometimes that happens with witches and occultists, not all the time. This is my experience, and from then on, I've been practicing rune ritual magic. Yes, your runes historically are an alphabet, but every rune has a magical aspect to it. You can research that yourself and figure it out. And again, I'm also going to talk about exorcisms. Exorcisms. I've done 3 exorcisms via rune ritual magic. So a lot of people say exorcisms are only via the Catholic Church. This is not true, because if you're going to deal with an entity that predates Christianity, your Catholic ritual is not going to work. You got to understand what kind of entity you're dealing with. So, and again, exorcisms are not just people; they're land, they're houses. I've done all 3. And I'm not claiming I'm an exorcist. I've just happened to be at the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't a practicing exorcist. I just happened to pull magical knowledge out of my pocket and do it, and it worked. And that's the thing with magical practice. It's intuition. You kind of feel what you got to do. You do what you got to do. Hopefully it works. There was one which shouldn't have worked, which should have completely possessed me, but it didn't possess me. I can't tell you why it didn't. Again, the path chose me. My mother was a natural witch. She kind of taught me some stuff, basically just via spirits. But maybe that has something to do with it. I can't tell you really. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on anything, because I think you can't be an expert on anything, because if you lived 1,000 lifetimes, you couldn't still be an expert on anything, because things always change. Everything's always in flux. Everything changes. So I'm not an expert. I'm just an average guy that happened to be in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, whatever, and the universe does what it does. I guess it touches you. Gives you a spark, whatever. So that's my thing. But with rune ritual magic, it's difficult to get a history on that. And I'm all about historical text and historical magical knowledge. But when it comes to rune ritual magic, there's really not a lot out there you're gonna find. So you just kind of you jump in. You jump in and start doing your stuff. And as I'm saying, every rune has. If you look at every rune like a sigil, okay? Some people are going to boo-hoo that, but if you look at a rune like a sigil, a magical sigil, that's going to make it a little more clearer, okay? It is an alphabet, but every rune has a magical aspect to it. So it's really like a sigil, if you get into sigil magic. And a lot of rituals I do are for protection and healing and clarity and stuff like that. I've never used rune ritual magic to do a curse or a nefarious practice. I suppose you can. That's just not my path. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to curse people, dude. That's not my thing, man. I mean, everybody has their karma everybody's going to answer for whatever they're doing anyway. It's not my goal to judge people or condemn people. So that's a little bit about my path. So there it is. I mean, if you used runes beyond divination, if you used runes in ritual practice, keep in touch. Leave some comments. I would love to hear this stuff, because I can't imagine I'm the only person that's doing this, because that wouldn't make any sense. So there's somebody else out there doing rune ritual magic. So I'd love to hear from you. Keep in touch. Do good works. I'll see you next time.